Welcome back to the Hornet's Nest. I'm Sean. This is my co-host Clark, and today we're interviewing my brother Zach. Yeah. Zach is a consultant for what business?
Watchdog project management.
Okay, sweet. All right, I'm gonna ask you some questions now about your background.
Sounds good. Sounds
What?
good.
What helped you make the choice for your job?
So originally, it's funny. I have like a pretty unique way in how I got involved in commercial real estate.
Hmm.
For context, Watchdog is a real estate consultancy. They used to be just a project management firm, but now we have an advisory services section, which is anything before a project. We have project management that handles anything during and within the project. And then we also have a professional search team, which helps recruit for both our company and projects. But the way that I got involved was I started working at a therapeutics company. So I started within the pharmaceutical industry. And in working there, I got industry knowledge on the operations that go into pharmaceuticals. And then during that time, a company that is in the architecture space reached out to me to expand their life science portfolio. And I worked there for a year while I grew life science and higher ed because it's all involved with life science. And then about a year in, Watchdog reached out to help them with their initiatives. And so I've been here for about 4 going on 5 months. But so what got me interested in it was having industry knowledge in life science and then also having ambition to get to know the commercial real estate scene.
Okay, nice. That sounds good. Okay, which has been more valuable in your line of work, education or experience?
Um, it's a good question. I would say for me, it's a pretty equal balance of both. Because without the knowledge, so for background for me, I went to Temple University
Hmm.
and I studied neuroscience and psychology. And although that doesn't really translate directly into commercial real estate as you would think,
Yeah.
but I used the degree to start my journey in pharmaceuticals. And then with my pharmaceutical experience, now I'm able to apply both the knowledge I learned in school, the knowledge I learned at Spark, and to take on commercial real estate. And so I think with education, it taught me the tools necessary to retain information. And then with work experience, it has allowed me to expand our portfolio and ultimately make the company money.
Okay, nice. Now that we're on the topic of school, where, what, and how long did you study?
So I went to Temple for 5 years because I switched my major a lot. When I first went, I started as a bioengineering major, and then I realized I'm not that good at math. So then I switched to just biology, and I did that for a year and a half, and that was honestly quite boring. And then I switched into neuroscience and psychology as a dual major, and that was honestly way more interesting. And I loved the lab work that I got involved with. And so because I switched my major 3 times, it ultimately caused me to do a fifth year. But win some, lose some, it's all good.
Yeah, it makes sense. And what skills do you think are necessary for your occupation?
The first one I would say is organization. I handle hundreds of tasks on a daily basis with not only different people, but different like types of projects. So I think the ability to put priority on things is my main skill. Aside from that, I would say people skills. Because I talk to a number of people on a regular basis, and a lot of these people are at the C-suite level. So if you're calling a CEO of a company and trying to get them to, disclose information and get them to trust you, it helps that you are first organized to know what you're calling about, but then trustworthy enough to continue the conversation. Other than that, I would say research is pivotal because if you're not calling for a good reason, then what are you talking about? And then the ability to analyze trends, because at the end of the day, making money for a business is it's statistics. So I think that's a great skill to have in your back pocket.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. And now my
Yeah,
co-host Clark is gonna ask you some questions.
Yeah, so we were
awesome.
curious about your day to day, what it looks like. So we were wondering, what habits have you developed working day to day?
Yeah, so to answer the first question, on a day-to-day basis, so my role officially as a title is a business development manager. It's pretty colloquial with consultant as the company is a consultancy. But so my task day in and day out is to speak with business leaders to get, I guess it's to formulate a plan for what their capital project pipeline is. And to put that into layman's terms, I essentially call CEOs and presidents to learn how much money they're going to be putting towards their real estate projects. This could be expansions, renovations, relocations, or something as simple as it's called workplace strategy. So it's like figuring out how you're going to configure your office or lab space to accommodate all of your employees. But so the second question is what skills or what was the question again? Sorry.
What habits have you developed
Oh,
in your day to
habits.
day?
Funnily enough, I think I used to be terrible at remembering names, and now because I'm, interacting with so many people on a daily basis, that I'm getting good at remembering names or companies or like little niche things that people do. And then my organization skills have gone through the roof just because I've been forced to take on like hundreds of things during the day. But so I would say those two habits are pretty good. And then, a good one is like it reduced my procrastination, because if you let things go, then everything comes to a head at the end of the week and then you're behind. And so I think organization and remember names probably the biggest ones.
Makes sense. We were wondering also, like, biggest thing we learned about was, a work-life balance. How have you had run into any problems with, maintaining a work-life balance or like relieving stress, like outside of work?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, it's been a difficult journey with that because, like as I was telling you guys, like, a few questions back, I didn't start or study within the commercial real estate space. So trying to navigate this industry as a whole and learning as much as I can, I found myself like constantly working even when it was off work hours. But so it's definitely been a struggle. I'm still getting better at it. But I think the way that helps me is constantly checking in with my family and friends. And then seeing them regularly, because when I'm with them, I try to like just make that time for enjoying myself and not focusing on work. Yeah, obviously it gets, kind of, mixed, because then you end up talking about work with your friends and your family. But I think touching base with people that, you love and you care about can help you feel grounded. So that's how I find a relief.
Oh, good. We were wondering also if you had to say anything negative about, your career path, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question. Huh. Um, the one negative thing that honestly isn't anything to do with the career that I'm in, but it's unfortunate that the like market rates are dictated by things like like a new president coming on board and creating tariffs and things of that nature. It becomes difficult to rely on those third parties like variables that are sometimes out of your control, because I could get so far. I could meet with the president of Google, and they could be ready to sign us up for a project, but if the rates for the buildings go up, then it pushes back their decision making. And so a negative thing that I would say is that there are a lot of third party factors that can make my job a lot more difficult than it is already.
Okay.
But about the job itself, there's nothing bad to say. I love what I do.
Okay, nice. It's back to me, Sean. What's up, bro?
How
Okay,
are you?
I'm gonna now ask you about the involvement with other businesses.
Yeah.
What sections of business, degree-wise, are you dying and growing?
Okay, this is good. So things that I've been seeing in the market, especially for like my industry. So a little further background for me. So as a business development manager here at Watchdog, I manage our industrious, our higher ed, our life science, government, and I think that's it. But so those sectors are under like my direction. But so something that I'm seeing in the industrial sector is that supply chain it's a major at school too. It's kind of dying off with the integration of AI. So like if you think of like car manufacturers
Mm,
or like computer parts manufacturing, they're now just putting them on an assembly line and then having it automated through some third-party software, which is usually you'd have people standing there, but now they can rely fully on the integration of technology. So I think that degree is probably still high paying, but I don't think that there's as much availability as there once was, like when people would stand on the lines and make sure that, like their engineering systems were in check and testing everything. I think that might be dying. But I think also with that, it seems to be the case that this could be wrong also, but I know that like some sort of like, I don't know, like business operation-esque stuff is also getting, kind of ousted by AI, but I could be wrong. But I'm just stuff that I'm reading.
okay,
And then the other
nice.
question was things that are growing, right?
Yeah.
So with AI being integrated into a lot of business systems, I would say cybersecurity and software engineering is hot right now. As of right now, those are two of the probably most progressed salary-wise like positions in the market. Since companies want to use the cheap option of AI, cybersecurity and software engineering is always going to be like a top priority for hirees.
Mm,
And it's cool now with those majors, you can also get certifications outside of like your regular school day. So whether that's getting like coding experience with languages like Java, C+, or SQL, you can get these certificates and your degree, which just makes you like kind of a weapon when it comes to like analyzing and dealing with AI. So those two are huge at the moment. And then finance and economics are always going to be good ones.
Okay, nice. And do you have any long-term careers or any long-term career goals while at Watchdog?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important, especially with the time of the year right now when it like, turns into a new year. It's good to like set a goal for the end of, this time next year for me. But so short-term goals, like for just the year, I'm hoping to be able to, I guess, like operate in my position as like a fully independent. So I do a lot of pitches. So I have to pitch to the C-suite or, the presidents of the company, our services. And as of right now, I'm still getting, pretty like acclimated with all the knowledge that it takes to be a consultancy and specifically in project management. So this year I hope to just be able to fully be independent with it. And then my long-term goals in this industry and as well as at Watchdog, I hope to be as networked in my industry as possible. I hope to know, double the amount of people that I know now so that when it comes time to, I guess, sign on for a project, hopefully I have some connection there and hopefully I can then become, an executive level person down the line.
Okay, sounds good. And if you could go back, what would you choose or change?
Honestly, I probably wouldn't change anything. I loved what I studied. I loved studying the brain. And then now with like the brain and psychology, I now have like a better understanding of what it takes to understand people. So I think it helped me ultimately like be better at selling things or representing people from a consulting standpoint. So I don't think I would change anything.
Okay, sounds good. And last question for you today. What is some advice to a high school student pursuing your career?
I would say that you should learn how to organize and prioritize your tasks as early as possible, because those skills are going to be like super valued when it comes to, time for college interviews, and then more specifically job interviews. If you can organize your stuff and get things done like as efficiently as possible, I think that'll be a great skill moving forward. And then my ultimate like advice would be to continue chasing things that make you uncomfortable because you're going to be better off afterwards, and it teaches you how to stress manage. And so I think if you are constantly chasing things that you don't want to do, even though you know they're better for you, then you're going to be a better person overall at the end of it.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you so much, Zach, for taking time out of your day to come answer some questions for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean Clark, it was a pleasure. And yeah, good luck with everything. And let me know if you ever need anything. I'm happy to be a mentor, either in, the space that I work in or just to give advice or answer questions about college or jobs whenever you guys need.
All right, sweet. Thank you so much. Well, have a nice one.
Absolutely. You as well.